I've seen a lot of your ads, and I talked to a lot of friends and family down there who have watched this campaign. You brought up voter suppression, and this Texas-based organization that has jack to do with Georgia is trying as hard as they can. There's a law in Georgia that says any registered voter can challenge any other registered voter, and so this Texas-based organization is capitalizing on that. The judiciary has said, nah, it's not going to work. We have not seen evidence of voter fraud. Your opponent, Kelly Loeffler, is perpetuating some of these things. How concerned are you by some of these voter suppression tactics that are taking place under the guise of True the Vote?
Well, I know a little bit about voter suppression. I have worked to register hundreds of thousands of new voters in this state. I've taken on for years the ways in which we've seen these kinds of tactics intended to diminish certain parts of the electorate. And the way to respond to this is to show up. And so I can't stress that enough. We need folks to show up on Tuesday. Part of the answer to rabid voter suppression is massive voter mobilization. And Kelly Loeffler ought to be ashamed. Here she is supposed to be representing the people of Georgia. She's busy trying to diminish their voice, trying to undermine the four most important words in a democracy: the people have spoken. And rather than standing with the people who are crying out for COVID relief, who could have used that $2,000 stimulus, rather than fighting for that, pushing Mitch McConnell to put it up for a vote, she is busy focused on herself, which is what she has done before she went to the Senate. She did that now that she's in the Senate. And the good news is that in our country, we have elections. She was appointed. The people are disappointed. The folk who sold her that seat don't own it. And I believe that come January 5th, the people of Georgia are coming to get their seat back.
Well, we'll see. I do want to ask, you did bring up COVID, and I want to ask you about how COVID has impacted the Get Out the Vote efforts, your GOTV operation. Now, your colleague, Jon Ossoff, his running mate, David Perdue, is in isolation just days before the election. In Georgia, the Republican Governor, Brian Kemp, you have a large coalition of anti-maskers and people who don't seem to believe in science. Meanwhile, you guys are pursuing ahead. However, has it hampered your election efforts at all?
Well, first of all, I pray that Senator Perdue is okay. And, this is a serious virus, and we ought to take it seriously. And it should not be a partisan issue. So we are continuing to move forward with our campaign, but we're doing it carefully. I had several rallies yesterday. They were all outside, and we encourage people to wear masks. The folks are wearing masks, and we'll continue to do that. The most important thing is to keep people safe. And so we will do that. But the people of Georgia, the people of this country need COVID relief. We're seeing our businesses close. We're seeing the devastating impact on workers. And the problem with politics in this moment is that the politics has become about the politicians. I mean, we have well over 340,000 Americans have perished. And you would think that with the urgency of this moment, we'd have a serious conversation going on in Washington about how to get the people aid and relief. But if you watch the debate this past week, it's all about the politicians, about who's up and who's down, who's in and who's out, who's winning and who's losing. Meanwhile, the people that I encounter every day as a pastor, they're losing every day. And every day that goes by and we continue to play these games, they suffer the more. And so this is why a pastor has decided to take the extraordinary step to run for the United States Senate. My whole career has been about service. I'm deeply honored that a kid who grew up in public housing in this great country of ours is running for the United States Senate against the wealthiest member of Congress. Only in America is my story possible. I'm running because that promise is slipping away from too many of our children, not just those who grow up in public housing projects like the one I grew up in, but in rural, disaffected communities all across this state. People are hurting. I'd be deeply honored if the people of Georgia would send me to the U.S. Senate to represent their interests. We need you to show up to vote Tuesday, January 5th. This is a defining moment. Georgia's on everybody's mind, and I believe Georgia's about to show up in an amazing way.
Well,
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.